everyone, and welcome to Ready Moveset Go Episode 4. As usual, I'm John at Room 100, and we have PK King 544.
Hello.
PizzaDudeManGuy. And NantenJex.
Hey there, I'm back after missing episode 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you took a break. Happy New Year, everyone. It's been a while.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah.
Happy New Year. I would have said hi, but my mic cut out, so hi.
Oh, well.
All
We're
right.
off to a great start then. 2020, everyone.
Yeah, we'll fix that in
Nothing's
post.
changed.
So, this episode's theme, we bounced back and forth between a couple things, but we wanted to keep to the idea of a thing that... Actually, I'm a liar, because I was going to say it's something that we haven't seen in Smash, but we have. But I think it's such a specific category that we're going to see some pretty weird movesets, and that is sports characters. No restriction other than that, just has to come from a sports-based game or is primarily an athletic character. So we're going to do Nanten, PK, me, and PizzaDude. So we ready to go?
Yep, I'm all ready to go. So let me start as the first person here to talk with this. I don't know what I'm saying. Let's just jump into it. So I was trying to think of sports characters who were meaningful to like video games and impactful. And I think one of the biggest sport titles out there is Konami's Track and Field. The original arcade game that then got turned into an NES title and it's had multiple sequels. It was even going to get a Switch sort of reboot with Hypersports R that is still in development. I've played the demo of it at an event. It wasn't good, so that's probably why it's still in development. But so I want to look back because Nintendo's been doing a lot of classic NES impactful titles in Smash with the playable ones like Castlevania, Mega Man, and then we're even getting spirits like the River City Ransom ones that just came out. Is River City Ransom, River City Rampage? That series. I'm not familiar with it, but it just got spirits because it's such an iconic beat-em-up game. And so that's what I was thinking. The only issue with International Track and Field is that it doesn't really have characters, they're usually just placeholders. But there is one game that did introduce original characters, and that is New International Track and Field on the Nintendo DS. So I figured they could be a pretty good representation, and the character I chose for this was Yoko, who is this sort of gothic athlete for the game. She's like the first character, I believe, on the thing. She's on the box. A lot of characters are on the box. They've got very similar frames, so I think this could be a situation where you could also have Claudia, who's like also a big prominent person on the box, and they have the same frames. So it could be a costume type thing, you know, half and half if they really couldn't decide. I don't think this is as important as the actual moveset itself, because track and field is the Olympics, pretty much. It's all Olympic-based games, so you have stuff like shot put, 100-meter dash, javelin, cycling, breaststroke, high jump, high dive, springboard, pole vault, and so on and so forth. And these could be turned into something similar to what I'm imagining with Wii Fit Trainer, where she uses different exercising and yoga moves for her moveset. This could be something where the character, whether it be Yoko, Claudia, or someone else, goes for different Olympic sports events to make up each of their moves. So the ones I had for the specials were a pretty easy one for the standard B. It was archery. We've seen plenty of bow characters. I think that one's a fighting one. It's another hold down charge attack. It goes very far. Whereas Link can shoot two, and you pick them up to do the double arrows. This one's like more traditional, like Link's archery, and it has what's the one thing? It's a bit more not vertical in that she shoots up, but Link sort of crouches down for his. Whereas in archery in the Olympics, you just stand up straight when you pull back, so it's much higher, which means people can run under it a lot easier. But it can hit. It hits up more like a headshot sort of thing. Anyway, archery for the standard B. Then side B, I was thinking javelin, which was a bit similar to the spear moves when we talked about them before in a previous episode, where they launch the javelin. It goes in an arc. straightforward. Like it can go over people's heads and hit from a distance, or it can come down. There wouldn't be any charge for throwing multiple javelins, like I think someone we discussed with Bandana D. But this one would be like just a regular javelin. Down B I quite like would be shot put, where they spin on the spot. Not shot put, sorry, that's the wrong one. Hammer is one I'm thinking of. Sorry. Hammer is the one where they spin around on the spot with the ball on the end of a chain. And anyone who's caught into it obviously gets hit by it, but then when you let go of the down B button, they launch the hammer in whatever direction they're facing. So you've got a different projectile for that, and then the up special would be pole vault.
Cool.
Nice.
I was hoping you would say
slam down with the pole, flip up and just launch them in the air. Obviously in the air, they're going to have to do some sort of visual mimicry to sort of have the pole obviously land, because otherwise they're just going to fall straight down. But
a really, really, really long pole.
Yeah. Just a crazy long pole that goes all the way down off screen to keep it up. I mean, that if they did do that, if they really wanted to go for that non-realism, that could be a really interesting attack in that the pole goes as far down until it hits the platform.
Yeah.
Meaning that you could strike people down.
It's a spike.
See, I was thinking of it more as like a wall, but like it just completely blocks off recovery or something.
What I was thinking is that like in the air, it could be like kind of like a tether, and you're in the air and you're trying to use to like recover. You have to be within a certain distance of the edge, and then they'll just stick the pole into the edge and then like catapult themselves up back onto the stage.
Oh,
That's not bad. There are lots of ways to refine that one, but I think the pole vault makes the most sense for the up special. And then you've got other just sports ones, like the dash could be the long jump.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're running and then you sprint into someone, you jump into someone. Weightlifting is one of the sports in it. There's discus. If you wanted to have like a forward aerial that's also another ranged attack, you can throw that. There's a springboard, rowing, could be a sort of down special where they like get out a rowing oar or whatever and swing around. And then the final smash would be something around the 100-meter sprint, because I feel like that's probably one of the more iconic track and field events. So it's like another sort of cutscene one where it knocks into it and they go for like a mad 100-meter dash where they just smash through the opponents.
I like that. I also like the I like the concept of they get teleported in Final Smash and then they're forced to compete in the 100-meter dash.
That is another good idea for it. There are plenty, because there's like 100-meter dash, 400-meter dash, 110-meter hurdles, cycling, 400-meter. They could take one of these and just like make it a Final Smash move. I feel like that's pretty simple to do. And then yes, shot put, triple jump, etc. These are all Olympic sports that could make up a bunch of the standard moves. And I just think it would be a good throwback to one of gaming's most iconic sports titles from at least the arcade and NES era that does have some characters, is from Konami, who already has content in the game, could be relevant if Hypersports R ever comes out. I mean, arguably all the sports games are relevant because people are still doing track and field in the world today.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a really good classic throwback character for Smash, and it fits right in. So I went for New International Track and Field. I hope no one else went for that.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about who did what this time.
Yeah. I guess we'll find out.
No one started listening to your thing by going, ah, crap. So
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my. What do you guys think of my moveset?
I like that idea with when you got track and field. I mean, you have so many like categories of what you can represent. So it's cool because it gives you such a wide spectrum of abilities. I kind of like it, man. I think like what is it, like 3 of your 4 special moves are projectile based, and then like the pole vault kind of has a special property like that. So like. So I really like that, just because like they all work differently. So man, it makes it such a versatile character with all the way it's done. I don't want to get off topic, but I just want to clarify something because I just kind of bounced back to me eventually. Did you say River City Ransom's a Konami series?
No, that's an Arc Systems. I meant it's a River City Ransom's a classic,
Oh,
iconic
okay.
NES
Sorry, that just
game.
kind of like went over my head. I was like, wait a minute. Okay.
No,
Anyways,
yeah, but that was my point. They're sort of celebrating these iconic games that started genres. I don't know if River City Ransom was the first beat 'em up, but it's one of the most iconic beat 'em ups.
Understood. Okay, part of that just went over my head. All right. No, so yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. I like the moveset. And yeah, it is really just, I think I will have to see, you know, with other movesets that people are going to present here. I feel like that is going to kind of be a theme of like, which fictional character can I use as a vessel for the moves that I'm representing are from this game or from this type of sport. Who can I use as a vessel to use this moveset? I think we're going to see a lot of that.
Despite owning new international track and field myself, I couldn't pin down which character is probably the most important one. So I always kind of assumed it was the blonde girl who's like the biggest character on the box, but she's not the first one on the roster of characters you pick from. So instead, that is Yoko, who's this weird goth girl who kind of stands out from everyone else, which is why I decided to go with her. But there are like tons of different characters with different body strengths. There's like this really buff girl, this sort of Zangief-looking dude, this guy with an afro, this old man. Like, they just kind of all these original characters that they've only ever appeared in this game. Which I should have also said, New International Track and Field is like the most recent track and field game, if you ignore the fact that Hypersports R exists, because that hasn't come out yet. They are like, who knows if they'll do original characters in that game, but yeah, it was difficult to pin down exactly who should have this, which is why I kind of thought, well, it's less important. It's not
right. Yeah.
No one cares about the character; it's the moveset on this point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. You know, no one got mad about Byleth because it's all about the moveset.
So I think it's more like the Wii Fit Trainer. And I mean, some people obviously are like, "Why is this avatar character like? What's this?" But then the moveset is like super creative and fun.
I mean, that's literally every character on the roster, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, alright then, who's next?
Okay.
Who's following me?
I guess it's me.
Yeah, PK.
Okay, so you know how there's like a lot of sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the odds of like my character also being heavily involved with running is slim, but it's happening. So, my character is Commander Video from yeah, you know that black runny dude with the white face from Bit Trip. So
he had a trophy.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, he had a trophy in 4, and he's already kind of has some movesets out there. Like, when I was looking up more information, I didn't realize how much of like there's like a mini like base that people want this character in Smash. There's already like movesets out there. Then I was like, oh, that's cool. And he's also in Indie Pogo, which is like an indie Smash kind of game. So there's already a lot of moveset potential in the air kind of floating around. But just from the game, what I kind of got mainly as a moveset idea was the character has this like rainbow behind him when he runs. And I thought that was super cool, but I didn't see anyone that doesn't really do anything in the game besides like visual effects. And at least for as far as I know, don't come for me. But in these movesets that I'm seeing, no one really like looks at that. You know, it's just like an aesthetic thing. So I was thinking if obviously the character is very mobile, running around, sliding around, jumping high, and that trail is always behind them. So maybe if your opponent is caught in that trail, it just does a little bit of damage. Like if you just run, like your opponent's running behind you in that trail over time, it just does a bit of damage to kind of keep the idea of like running through your opponent and dashing between them and jumping around them because you're doing damage. And then the rainbow field is also accumulating a bit of damage, so you always want to be close but like keep them behind you a bit. And I thought that would be a really interesting way to play a character.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like almost a character like in a sort of way is just made exclusively to like run away and around people just to kind of keep that rainbow going.
Yeah, it's a unique function.
Yeah. So that's the main gist. There's stuff from his games, kind of like springs and things like that could be used for his up B and more mobility, but I wanted to keep it pretty close corners because if you had projectiles, then you wouldn't be using the whole rainbow mechanic. So yeah, a lot of his moves are just like dashes, kicks mainly. The kicks is what he does a lot. He has shoes, he kicks.
There we go.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, that's mainly it. But I was hard coming up with like you just said a second ago. There's a lot of sports games, but they're just sports games. Like there's no really character that like embodies that whole franchise or that whole genre. There's just sports. So when I kind of came across this, I was like, oh, this is like actually a character that people will look at and be like, oh, I know who that character is, and then go from there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, this was it's a weird category for sure, because there's so much moveset potential, but it's just deciding how it all fits in is definitely the weird part. So you do kind of have to focus on a gimmick almost, or if not for the moveset itself, like visually, like Wii Fit trainers always doing yoga, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like with the runner, I get where you're coming from with running sort of classifying as a sport. I mean, I've got it in my
Yeah, there was a stretch.
But
it was a stretch.
And I always feel that's more of a rhythm. If we did a video on rhythm characters, that's where...
That's fair, because at least gameplay-wise, it's a lot more based on rhythm than running.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it'd be a good one to see. I feel like it'd be a good Mii costume with all the indie Mii costumes we're getting. And he's like the only indie character who was cut from Smash. Not getting anything in Ultimate after I got a trophy in Wii U.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah.
But actually, a brawler for him I could see pretty easily.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he'd have a good song to come with as well.
Oh,
so.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. We don't have a ton of brawlers, Mii costumes, do? I mean, I guess a lot came with Terry, but at least in terms of like the indie ones, they've both been gunners.
They're both been gunners.
Yeah.
They gotta do like a Hollow Knight swords fight.
I'm
going to say. Give us a Hollow Knight swords fighter.
I can't see that not happening at this point.
Yeah.
Give me a Cadence from Crypt of the Necrodancer sword fighter.
Cadence.
That's one I feel like should happen.
I just want costumes for Shovel Knight and Shantae just so we get music with them too.
True, yeah.
That's very fair.
Well, this isn't Mii costume talk.
Okay, that's a different video. But yeah, that's basically all I got.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we talked about stretching for the idea, so and that's not a pun. It sounds like I was about to go into like a stretching to like play sports kind of thing. Totally unintentional.
Okay.
But what I was going to say is that I have made, I think I chose the weirdest character that I've ever made a moveset for.
Okay.
Fun.
So we said that there's a lot of sports, a lot of real life sports, and we're also obviously working from the video game angle in Smash. But what if I chose a character from a sport that is not a real life sport, and that game is Rocket League? And the character is the battle car from Rocket League.
Oh, okay. That's, yeah, I guess that technically counts as a sport. It's basically a form of football, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I guess that technically counts.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, because there's no real racing aspect to it, which is why, I mean, even then, I would almost say racing is a sport, but
yeah.
Either way, it's definitely, I thought it was like, I mean, it's such a big game, and like it's literally it's just a sport, it just as a game. So basically, obviously, very weird to work with to actually make a moveset out of. Some of the, obviously it's very fast. Maybe one of the probably one of the faster characters that there are. Also the shortest by a little bit. The car would still be large enough, and the way I justified this is that even talking about Smash Ultimate, they kind of brought up the fact that the Smash fighters are toys, and they are just like RC cars basically. So I figured it size wise it's okay, justifiable enough. Also Olimar is like way bigger than he really is.
Right.
Yeah.
The main thing is that the car is very, very light and very prone to knockback, and has a fast fall. So the maneuvering to keep yourself safe is definitely the hardest part, because there's a lot of sliding, and like I said, lighter than you would expect. It's easy to get knocked around. Most of the normal moves are all just variations on the different flips and jumps that you can do in the car. That's another reason why I Rocket League was okay, is because you can actually jump.
Oh yeah.
So basically, it's just stuff like forward air and forward smash would be a front flip. Up smash, up air would be hit like going up with the front of your car, that kind of thing. The down moves would be using the flames from the rocket. It would either, the down air would be a multi-hit, and down smash would just be a circle with the flames. All just kind of variations on that. The grab, I decided the only way it would possibly work is to use the plunger from the rumble mode. So the car has a tether grab. That's obviously how he's going to grab ledges, grab people, and from there most of the hits are basically the same, just front flips, back flips, that kind of thing for the actual hits. And then for the specials, I also focused on the rumble mode. As I said, kind of the deeper I got into this moveset, the more I was like, it could actually work. So neutral special is when nothing is going on. When you hit B, you spawn the ball, and basically it works similar to the soccer ball item. Not quite as destructive, but it's basically just a thing that if you can keep up with the ball and keep hitting it into people, it's going to up your damage output tremendously. And then from there, all of the moves, well, most of the moves are in terms of just kind of expanding your range and also different ways to hit the ball. So if you hit B again while the ball is up, you'll do freeze. The ball will just completely freeze in place for a couple seconds. Side B is the boot. It's just basically just a longer ranged attack. I don't think you could charge it or anything. It would probably just be a dash attack into feeling, but you wouldn't move for that one. Up B would be just propulsion. Very similar to Rob's, and you can just fly up and kind of sputter and use it as much as you can. Obviously you could run out of fuel just like Rob. And then down B would be tornado, which is kind of like that one item. Was it the Ore Club?
Yeah.
Where you would just shoot a tornado that goes briefly forward, and people would get pulled into it, get hurt a little bit, and then thrown out the top. And then the final smash would be a cutscene, and it's obviously called Goal. And that's my weird ass moveset.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you did a good job of doing it for just a car.
I like it.
Yeah. I kind of figured, or at least kind of hoping that one of us would do that, because I don't know, if nobody did that, then we'd have to at least say something, because that was where my mind kind of went to immediately, like, oh, Rocket League. But then I was like, no, that's not gonna work. but you actually like made it work.
I was hoping someone would do Rocket League as well.
I mean, I didn't think of Rocket League, but I was contemplating the Daytona USA car. So I also had cars on the brain. I mean, it was a fighting game. It was in a fighting game before, so.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's in
you're right.
A Sega cross. I don't even know if it's a Sega crossover fighting game, but it was a sort of Sega Saturn, I think, fighting game. Fighter Mix something. I'm gonna Google it quickly, but
Dream Mix?
Yeah,
it wasn't Dream Mix, was it?
It might be Dream. No, it's not Dream Mix TV World Fighters. No.
Okay, I didn't think that was Sega.
No, it's a Sega game. It had a character called Honey in it, who was then going to appear in Sonic Fighters.
Oh, okay, man. I don't know this game at all. Then I know who Honey is. I didn't realize she was in some other crossover.
Yeah, she has originally appeared in this other fighting game.
Huh.
That I can't remember the name of. Fighting Vipers. That's it.
Fighting Vipers. Okay.
Fighting Vipers. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure that's the game I'm thinking of. If not, it's a sequel to that. I mean, Fighting Vipers had Pepsi Man in it as well. But I'm pretty sure. I feel like it's Fighting Vipers. I'm gonna have to rethink. But it's definitely Daytona USA car was a fighter already in the past.
That's great. That's cool. Yeah, no, I was looking at sports games, and obviously there's so many that are from like brand name like sports organizations and stuff like that. And then Rocket League was on the list. I was like, I guess so. Oh God. Got to work.
Oh, by the way,
the ideas flow.
I got it. It was a game called Fighters Mega Mix on the Sega Saturn. It was like a crossover between Virtua Fighter and Fighting Vipers. and then just had a bunch of original characters, and then stuff like Bark the Polar Bear and Bean the Dynamite from Sonic were both in it. But then it also had Hornet, which is car number 41 from Daytona, USA.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fun fighting game. 3D fighter. Anyway, yeah, sorry, tangent over.
But yeah, I mean that's basically it. You would just have to make sure for the palette swaps that they were all the same general type of car. You couldn't have a ton of like variants, which would be a shame. But
yeah, because of hitbox and size, I get that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And
just do colorations that reference it.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can always have the spirits for the other cars.
yeah, you're not wrong.
And I mean, Rocket League is on the Switch, and there are some some exclusive costumes,
right?
Like, I think
that's right.
That's true.
That's
yeah.
exactly
like that.
it.
Yeah, so I don't know. It could happen.
maybe the alts could just all be like skins of the original 8 from Smash 64.
Oh,
good color references.
Nice.
That'd be pretty neat.
Well, even if you took like the specific costumes from the Switch version, I mean, you already have Mario and Luigi. You already have Samus's gunship. You get the R-wing. You get the Blue Falcon.
Yeah. Just all the Nintendo vehicles.
Yes.
All right, and then I guess it's Pizza Dude Man. Then you're the only one left.
Okay.
Go for it.
So yeah, I kind of wanted to go in classic Smash Brothers fashion and try to pick like a sports series that's classic and iconic to Nintendo, and what I came up with was I really wanted to make a character based off of Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
Tecmo's American football game. So now the problem is the NES version of Tecmo Bowl was like one of their big things. It was like the first football game of that type to actually use real sports teams, and obviously for Smash Brothers we want to avoid that. Thankfully though, before the NES release, there was the arcade version of Tecmo Bowl, which is how the game got popular in the first place, and the arcade version uses fictional football teams that they made up because they didn't have the licenses yet.
Yay!
And it also is still the Tecmo Bowl with the best music in my opinion, so use that in the video. So in arcade Tecmo Bowl, you have two fictional teams. You have the Wildcats and the Bulldogs. And there are named characters in it, but I mean, that is just not as well known as the good old Wildcats and Bulldogs. So my idea for the actual character name themselves is you got split 4 and 4 alts. You have 4 slightly different looking generic football dudes in blue and 4 in red, and the character name is just their team name. When you pick the character, you're either picking Wildcats or Bulldogs. And one of their special gimmicks is that crowd chants just happen more often, like randomly, and like it just sounds like a football cheering section. Wildcats, Wildcats, Bulldogs, Bulldogs. And it also changes the victory announcer. Instead of wins, they'll say win. So it's like Wildcats win. So even though you're really only playing as one football player, it gives off the impression that it's like it's a team effort. So then the moveset itself is just football maneuvers. You got lots of tackles, you've got sacks, you got big kicks, you got takedowns for all the grabs and throws, and then you've got like maybe the up throw is like a punt, and football helmet headbutts for certain things, maybe aerials and some juke spins in the air. And the cool thing about Tecmo Bowl for arcade too is, man, those football players can jump, like definitely outdo Little Mac jumping. So like it actually, I think the physics of it fit pretty well for Super Smash Brothers, surprisingly. So that's the general gist of the moveset. Let's get into our special moves here. Neutral B is called Kickoff, and you just kick a football forward. Very simple projectile, but you can charge it. If you hold the B button, you'll get like a power meter that goes up and then resets to 0 really quickly. And that's how it works in Tecmo Bowl. And like it'll go up and then go back to 0, up, back to 0. And wherever you release the B button shows the power of the football. And the more power you have, the further it flies and the more damage it deals, but also the higher the arc of the football. Yeah. So if you have it at like max power, that ball's going like really up, and it makes it really hard to actually hit people with unless they're like above you. So you have to decide when you use that move how much power you're going to use depending on your opponent's position. Or you can just spam B and just keep kicking lots of really short-ranged footballs. Side B is called diving tackle, and you just leap forward with your arms out. If you hit somebody, whether you're in the air or on the ground, while you have your arms forward and are leaping forward a surprising distance, you will grab the opponent. It breaks through shields. You will grab the opponent and then just take them down to the floor with you, and then you're both prone on the floor. And it is especially devastating in the air. You can Ganon side with it, and it's just really cruel. The up B is called intercept, and at face value, it's just a third jump. You just do a big jump with your hands in the air. That's what it looks like. Non-damaging, no special effects on its own. However, if you use intercept after using kickoff, your football player will automatically home in and lock on to the football they've just kicked, and then will do like an Ike Ether effect where they slam it down into the ground. So as a makeshift really high vertical recovery, if you're falling off the stage, you could use your neutral B, max power, kick that football way high up into the sky, immediately follow up with intercept, and then jump up really ridiculously high up, and then slam down with a powerful football touchdown attack.
That's great. Wow. It feels like Terry's down B like on steroids.
So then with the down B is a function that came in later for like the NES and the Super Nintendo titles, where you select your formation, and that is the down special. It's called Select Formation, and it is a stat changing move like Shulk's Monato's arts, but there are only two formations, pass play and running play. So you don't ever have to like scroll through or like things. You just click down B, bam, now you're in the other formation. You're either always in pass play or running play. They don't run out. There's no neutral position. When you are in running play, you move on the ground faster. You run faster. That is it. And when you are in passing play, you can kick the football further. That is it. There are very slight differences, but you can choose if you want a faster run speed or if you want to be able to kick the ball higher. Maybe you've been playing in running play the whole time. Now you're falling off the edge. You switch to passing play, kick the football even higher than you would be able to before, and then do an intercept giant touchdown attack. So you have all these options with that. The final smash is called defense play. The trigger is actually just throwing the football with your hand, and what happens is whoever it hits catches the football. Then whoever caught the football gets put into a cutscene sequence where they are just then piled on by the entire team. The entire football team just all slams down on them because they caught the football, and then the opponent goes flying back on the real stage.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think this is what we all kind of like envisioned when we said sports, because this is literally getting a sport and giving it a meaning, and it's so literal, but it's so perfect.
It's done very well to do it around a singular sport.
Yeah.
I like that. American football's quite a big one. I mean, didn't Nintendo have an American football game? I don't know if it's owned by them, but I was pretty sure it's called Nintendo Football something. It's an NES game.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
But Tecmo Bowl's the more popular one. I mean, that's the one that's on Nintendo Switch Online and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
still
how I
waiting for
played
that
it.
Mario American Football. I'm still waiting for that game. We need to play as Charge and Chuck. He's perfect for it.
It's true, he is perfect for it. And Charge and Chuck would be a perfect character for
Yeah, it's true.
Well.
Maybe that's who I should have picked for my sports characters, just Charge and Chuck from Super Mario World.
I'm actually surprised no one picked Waluigi, considering he's a tennis character.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, I already did that video, so...
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, I really like that move, so that's cool.
The only thing I would change is I felt like it was slightly weird just because it's football that none of the specials were specifically just throwing the ball. So I feel like it's a pretty easy mitigation would be neutral B would be one of those things where you tap it, you just throw it, but then if you hold it, that's when you actually get ready for the kick or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Kinda
like that. That's a good idea.
We fit side B, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but otherwise, that's intercept sounds hilarious. I love it.
I'm imagining two things. Okay, question one: once the football is in play, could you like kick it? Like, could another player hit it? Theoretically.
Could they hit it back?
Yeah.
It counts as it counts as a physical projectile. So I mean, if they've got like a reflector, yeah, but they can't. Yeah.
Well, you
And
can hit
also-
it back like Gordo, right? Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, like a Gordo, maybe.
Maybe. When you
I have to think about that.
No, it's fair. That would mess up the recovery a lot, but that could maybe be fun. I don't know. Speaking of the recovery, when you first said intercept and you were like, "Oh, it does nothing. I was hoping you were gonna say, "Oh, you could intercept and catch like your opponent and slam your opponent down." And I was like waiting for that.
Bam!
Yeah.
Basically, you just turn him into a pile drive like wrestler type suddenly.
Oh, exactly.
That'd be awesome.
But speaking of wrestler, I was kind of surprised no one did Incineroar, or not Incineroar. Well, Incineroar is already in Smash. That's not what I meant.
But like,
I meant
some kind of wrestler.
Like I more meant like Pokemon, like Cinderace, like with the whole soccer ball.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
That was
there's
like-
also that rugby monkey from Sun and Moon,
Yeah, exactly.
whose name I don't
Oh yeah,
remember.
Passimian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's his name.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could talk about my, just real quickly, my other ideas. The main thing, because like we said, it's hard, there's tons of moveset potential, hard to pick a character. An option I was considering was one of two ways. I wanted to introduce a new Mii type. So the main one I was considering would be Mii Racer, and that would basically be Mario Kart. And so you pick like your neutral special can be like a green shell, red shell, fire flower. Side B, you can get like a boomerang or a bob-omb or a mushroom. Up B, you can recover with. I wrote this out because I'm insane. But up B, you got Bullet Bill, balloons, or a Lakitu. And then down B, you have Super Horn, a banana, or a blooper.
Okay.
And I felt like size-wise, that would obviously make way more sense than Battle Car. But there's just like a lot of other weird things, like with the grab, and also they would be slower and like even heavier than a rocket car, than a battle car. And then the other one, I didn't actually write anything out, but I was considering having a Mii athlete basically as a Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort rep.
Okay.
Yeah, I considered Mii athlete as well as a different one representing Wii Sports, because Wii Sports is such a big series.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was more specifically thinking Matt. You know that.
Exactly.
You know that
Yeah.
dude?
Definitely. And Matt's just the champion of Wii Sports.
That works too.
If we're talking about other characters to consider, there's one I did want to mention because I did consider them, but just couldn't think of as good a moveset for them because it was just based around one sport. But it's such an iconic sporting video game character that if it did get into Smash, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah.
Which is Power Pro-kun from the baseball series of the same name, Power Pro.
Oh, okay.
So like, you might have seen him. He looks like a baseball player, but with like no. Sometimes he's shown with arms and legs. Sometimes he's not, like sort of
But
Rayman style.
isn't he like?
big feet.
Isn't he like yellow when he has big eyes?
Oh,
He's not
yeah.
yellow. He's still skin colored. He has a
Yeah.
red baseball outfit usually. If you just type in Power Pro-kun,
Okay, yeah,
he's
I
almost
see him.
certainly the
I
first.
I know who you're
recognize
talking
this
about.
guy.
Yeah.
He looks
Yeah,
like a Funko.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does look a bit like a Funko, but the series is ridiculously huge. Like, it started in 1994 and has been on basically every single platform, including the Nintendo Switch. It's got a game on the Switch. And funnily enough, it's also the series with the rarest amiibos because it has 6 amiibo cards dedicated to Power Proken that were only available in Japan. So it's got that going for it as well. I wanted to make sure it was mentioned because as far as actual sporting characters go, at least from a Japanese perspective, he is almost certainly the most well known. I just couldn't really come up with a moveset that was all just baseball.
Yeah, baseball's a hard one, yeah.
There's another character I strongly considered, which was Mamoru Endo from I'm forgetting the name. It's a soccer series, mostly known for its anime, but it started as a game by level 5. Inazuma 11. That's the one. 11.
Yeah, that's a really popular level 5 series.
Right, it's a soccer RPG, and you get kind of like fantasy like soccer abilities, like big magical energy hands for goalkeeping and stuff. Yeah,
I can see that one translating really easy. I actually completely forgot about it, but it was huge on the DS and 3DS.
Mm-hmm. I guess the only other thing, I wasn't sure how much of like a sport, I mean, this is a sport, I guess, but it's like a video game sport in the same vein of Rocket League. And I haven't played this game, so I don't know much about it, but it's called Lethal League. I've seen a lot of gameplay of it, and it looks super cool and a high pace. And I'm like, this is like a sporty kind of thing. And there's that dude with the cane, and I'm like, ooh, that dude with the bat. I'm like, ooh, like.
Yeah, it's basically like a baseball fighting game.
Yeah, you just you're smacking the ball around and knocking out the opponent. It's super fun. It's really fun. I'm waiting. Yeah. I think is it out on Switch or is it coming to Switch? One of them is.
I have no clue.
Lethal League Blaze, which is like the sequel. Or the re-enhanced version, or whatever. Might be out on Switch.
Yeah, I think I only ever heard of Lethal League like a month or two ago.
Yeah, I think it's out on Switch.
Yeah, it is out on Switch. Came out last July. So it's been out for a while. The soundtrack was done by the guy who did Jet Set Radio, though.
Ooh.
It's pretty sick.
Get one of those songs. Please.
You know, would that count? Would that have counted to have like a skateboarding character? Could we have just talked about Jet Set?
I don't know if Jet Set counts, but I was thinking of like Tony Hawk's. But
yeah, I know. That's what my friends were like. They were like, "Oh, Tony Hawk," and I'm like, "That's not a. I mean, that's a video game, but I don't know." But I think that's generally it.
Yeah, we sped through that one because I mean, like we said, it's kind of like it is a pretty straightforward thing. It's just kind of what skin you want to put over. Like whatever type of moveset that you do, like
it's a lot more moveset driven.
Yeah,
I don't know. Your Rocket League one's pretty specific.
It is, but even then, I was between 2 cars. Like I was between either I was between either Rocket League or a Mario Kart type of thing, like the Mii Racer. But it's definitely a very moveset specific thing. Like the running type thing definitely has a lot of wiggle room just because I feel like there's more characters that like run and do other stuff than like a football player who has a lot of other abilities or something like that, like baseball.
Well, that's sports.
Yeah, I'm happy with the result. We went right from a food character to sports character, so we
gotta keep it balanced. You know.
One other thing that I'm shocked that somebody I'm sure considered it at least, but there's no Ring Fit either.
Okay.
I didn't even think about it.
I actually didn't consider that one. I guess I didn't really think of it as sport. I suppose it's physical activity, I suppose.
I would say it's as much as like Wii Fit, you know? Like
yeah, but does Wii Fit count as a sport character?
Well, on that cliffhanger question, that's what you can that's
answer
what you can
below
debate
in the comments.
Yeah. And anything exciting going on in your lives that you would like to talk about besides the usual?
In a general sense?
I mean, we could just kind of chat for an hour if you want, but I didn't mean for YouTube.
Yeah, for the video.
Well, actually, I'm going to this party tomorrow. Like, no.
Just getting some good videos out, but my Echo Fighter video should hopefully be out by the time this video comes out. It's been in development for eons at this point.
Oh, fine. I'm working in the Rivals workshop a lot, making the characters I'm making movesets for actually playable in the game, which is really exciting. Finishing up my first one right now, and I have a series where I'm making a new one, so kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, no, I have a couple singular movesets that should be coming out soon. They're all kind of weird, and then I have like a general kind of Smash Thoughts video coming out probably in a day or two. Well, as of making this, it'll be out by the time.
As of this recording session.
Yeah, yeah. So if you haven't watched that yet, it's there.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, all of our usual social media stuff, I'll spare everyone from going through it again because I'll just put it on screen.
Lovely.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2020.
Yeah. Hopefully we can knock out a few more in a little bit shorter of a time.
Yeah.
It's fine. DLC is going to be lasting for a while, so
that's true. Yeah.
All right.
Fun.
Bye.
All right. Yeah. See you later, everyone.
Bye.
Get out. We're done.
Leave. The video's done.